The topic of the next presentation is the rediscovery of Singapore illustrator Errol Lacane. And to share with us this good news, we have Denise Tessenson. Just a word on Denise. You know, Elvis, as in Elvis Presley, he's been reported to have been spotted all over the world. But Denise knows where he is exactly. Because she is the writer of this series, Elvis in Kato. So please welcome Denise.
Okay. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for coming. Unlike the three ladies before who were invited to come, I asked to come. It's called thick skin. And the National Book Development Council are so supportive of everybody who makes any attempt to do a book that they said, yeah, sure, we'll squeeze you in. So I got 10 minutes. All right, now this is Errol Lacane, our only Singapore-born and bred, world-famous animator, book illustrator, and movie maker. Quite an astounding character, this Errol Lacane. He was born in Singapore in 1941. After 11 months, he was evacuated to India, where he spent 3.5 years. But his father, who was Singapore's first non-British Commissioner of Police, spent his time suffering in Changi jail. So, and his father was the one who did all the drawings and calculations for our Supreme Court building. So the Lacanes, I might mention, you know, that I'm Eurasian. We are, I think, 0.1% of the population of Singapore, but my family has been around since 1843 in Singapore, a lot longer than a lot of our leaders. Okay. All right, now this is Errol Lacane, and the portrait is by Jerry Bauer. And Jerry Bauer did all the famous portraits, portraits of all the famous people at that time. He's just passed away. This is John Lacane and his wife, Errol's mum, and she was a qualified nurse and worked very hard all the way. This is Errol, of course, on the right, and two of his friends in Changi. And so very, very much a Singaporean person. And here he was in St. Patrick's School. He went on to SGI. And ladies and gentlemen, this is the iconic illustration done by Errol Lacane. And I hope that you will be mesmerized at the other pictures that are coming. Okay, here's more of it. You can see these are very much the fairy tale series. He illustrated 50 books. Tell me why we don't know him in Singapore. It's astounding that we don't. And here you've seen outside, or you will see outside, one of the portraits. On the top left is a picture from Aladdin. On the right, one of his Eastern legendary books, and of course this iconic picture. From his very first book, they were so astonished by the way he did it that Faber immediately signed him up in 1968. The Child in the Bamboo Grove is done in a very Japanese style. I wish you could see the real thing because the color is richly yellow. Look at these. Beauty and the Beast. Has anyone heard of Errol Lacane in this room? Anyone? Oh, great! Well done, thank you. You're all not Singaporean, I take it. Okay, Cinderella. His interpretation of Cinderella. Sir Orfeo was his third book, and just based on the third book, the BBC took him on to do 4 movies, and very, very popular movies. It took him a whole year to do 250 drawings. In those days, they didn't know the technology, and only in its infancy did they have it, whereby you had that blue background or that green background and everybody dances in front. So he did 250 in a year. Every brick printed in. Okay, the Pied Piper of Hamelin, Sarah and Stephen Corrin, and Errol, and the White Cat. Lovely, lovely story. This is another of the pictures from Sir Orfeo, very much in his medieval love. And here is Morgana Le Fay from the first book, King Arthur's Sword. He got a little tired after a while because, as he was saying, this is from my personal favourite, The 12 Dancing Princesses. He got tired of looking for happy endings. He just didn't know how to keep doing them anymore. And this is the flying ship. Now, what do you think that is? Look at the drama of this. Why he's so special is that if you look in every little corner, something is pointing to something else. Faces and little details to be hours and hours you can spend looking at. That's exactly what children did. You know the one, right? Yeah, okay. And this is from the White Cat.
What was it? Tell us for those who don't know.
You don't know?
Yeah.
Okay, have a look. Can you see the cradle in the corner? And the Wicked Witch? Who? What? Oh, yes, Sleeping Beauty, of course. The White Cat. Now, he did only one fully black and white book, and this one was for adults, really. Walter Pater's Cupid and Psyche. And this is the book that he dedicated to his wife. They were just in love and married. Here's another one. Rather in the style of Aubrey Beardsley. You can notice, of course, there's everything like Dulac and Arthur Rackham and all these marvelous, look at this. The beauty and the another one from the Pied Piper, another one from King Arthur's Sword, another one from Cinderella. Now, what I love about this is, can you see from the far left, that is Cinderella after the ball, rushing, see the midnight, all the clocks there. And as she is running, she turns back into the parlour maid. How he produces movement. The Enchanter's Daughter, written by Antonia Barber for her adopted Vietnamese daughter. Aladdin. I love that particular combination of colours, which is why I keep bringing this picture up, sorry. And here is the genie in the lamp, setting him down. Okay, more and more of his gorgeous colours. The little dog of 4. At a certain point in his life, Errol became Buddhist, and very much it brought him a lot of peace and joy in his chanting. Little dog of 4. Chinese, Vietnamese, Japanese, everything Eastern. See all the detail. Do you find these things beautiful? You find them gorgeous? Justice Powell, a very rare copy of his things. And this is Alfie and the Dark. His son was Alfie, and the question was, where did the dark go? And this is from that book of his. Now this is the same story, just as of just now, Sleeping Beauty, how he, the thorns, forest of thorns came up and nobody could get through. You can see that he loved cats. So that was a motif he used a lot. And Growl Tiger, and all the poems of T.S. Eliot. In fact, a lot of Cats was inspired by what he did with his art. Now, Errol was known, in fact, 50% of the people who know his work do not know about his illustrated books. They know him as an animator. He went from Singapore to London and joined in those days the #1 advertising agency in the country called Pearl & Dean. And from there, he learnt his art and his stuff, and then they closed it down, the animation department. So he then joined Richard Williams' studio. Now, Richard Williams got 3 Oscars for Who Framed Roger Rabbit, and said to Errol, okay, this is what you do your own cartoon. This is it, the Sailor and the Devil. Errol had to do everything except the music, but he had to do it to music. Now this is his Buddhist, he did 10 paintings for the Buddhists, and this is called Anger. Then when he joined, remember I mentioned the BBC, this is the funny thing happened on the way to the forum, but terribly you can forget, it was a bad movie this one, but some of the others. He also did the credits for Casino Royale. Do you remember that Bond movie? Is this now becoming familiar to us Singaporeans? Okay, here is one I love. This is Buddhahood from the 10 Worlds. Now this amazing 8-foot painting in detail is done for the Thief and the Cobbler. It took 31 years for Richard Williams almost to finish it. The last 15 minutes he didn't do, and the people who were bankrolling him took everything back. And then it's gone through so many permutations, but there is a guy who has done the recobbled version, so if you can download that from the net, it's an amazing, amazing movie. Errol did all of that. Every brick, because it seems Richard Williams said it will figure in people's unconscious. So if you leave out the brick, they will know. Okay, this is part of it. Can you see the blue face? Does that remind you of anything? The Richard Williams movie, remember? That is the daughter and her dad. Okay. Here we go. Thank you. Thank you so much, Denise.